non-doubter, showstopper. Right now is the one and only, no other. Just pulled up, lifted, and persisted, ignoring my voice of reason. I've seen things that I'll never mention. I've seen people do more for attention. Here comes Mr. Know-It-All. I know so much, but I don't listen. Lord knows that I feel that pressure. God, please forgive me for stressing. Just pulled up, lifted, and persisted, ignoring my voice of reason. I've seen things that I'll never mention. I've seen people do more for attention. Here comes Mr. Know-It-All. I know so much, but I don't listen. Lord knows that I feel that pressure. God, please forgive me for stressing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Duan and Only Podcast. Today, I have a very special guest. He is a sponsored guest. He is from Winoka, Oklahoma. He graduated from Amarillo Tascosa High. He also went to Texas A&M University. Then he went to dental school at Baylor Dental School. He is married, and he's been married for 49 years. He has 3 kids. Mr. Dr. Bird. Mr. Dr. Bird.
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
How are you doing today, sir?
I'm really good.
Good. How are you been since the COVID, and how's everything
Well,
been?
it was a big adjustment for dentistry because we had to kind of almost shut down except for emergencies. And then we had about a 6-week period where we only did emergencies and then slowly, incrementally did more and more things. And
Absolutely.
now that we've gotten to a point where everybody's a little more acceptable to wearing masks, and of course we've done that all along, wearing masks and shields and drapes and all that stuff, and done an excellent job as far as cleaning in between patients. It's still been a transition to make people feel comfortable.
Got you.
Coming into the office.
Got you. So, like, what was the procedure as far as, like, okay, how did you know at your dental office that we're going to shut down just for a little bit, and then kind of slowly but surely work those procedures in?
Well, the Oklahoma Board of Dentistry set a guideline for, hey, all you can do now is do dentistry in emergency situations where somebody comes in with a swollen or terrible toothache. We would do only that and only that. And then we would go from that, and incrementally as time went, we were able to open up, and the dentistry, Oklahoma Board of Dentistry would allow us to incrementally add things on as time went, and the whole nation got to feel more comfortable with dentistry.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of the same thing with me, with my business, with More Smoothing. I just told them, hey, you know, for that first 2 weeks when the pandemic actually started, we kind of didn't have no jobs, so it was scary.
Yes.
So my thing was during those 2 weeks, I had to make sure that I was essential, you know, per se. So I made sure that I wasn't working illegally at the time. Thank goodness that, you know, I could still work. But those first 2 weeks, we didn't have anything. And during those 2 weeks, I was studying up on, we got to get masks, you know, we got to, you know, everything that we do for sure has to be hand sanitizer, everything like that too. So I definitely understand where that comes from. And
well, we checked patients as they came in to check temperatures. We asked them certain questions that would allow us to make a decision on whether they had been in a position where they had been exposed to somebody else in their family or something like that. So as time went, we still do the same questions as they come in, but still it becomes a little more streamlined because you've done it over and over again. So patients, and then on top of that, when you're seeing a patient and then you reschedule them to come back the next week, they've already been exposed to how we do things. As soon as they drive up into our office, they have a sign on our door that says, "Stop here, call the office, make sure that you can come in at this time," and they call the office, and we allow them to come in, and we check their temperature, and then we ask them, Shannon, our front office girl, checks questions that will allow us to feel more comfortable about seeing them as a patient.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to dig right into it.
Oh, sure.
We're going to dig right. I'm excited. Everybody, this is my dentist, Dr. Bird. So, you know, he's also he's one of our sponsors today as well. So I'm excited to talk about clean teeth. You know me, everybody always say, man, you have a good smile. Everybody see my smile? Everybody see my smile? So my first question is, what encouraged you to become a dentist?
Well, it was one of those deals where as I grew up, first of all, I know that sounds really weird, and particularly in today's standards, as a young kid, I would have frogs that would be out on the side of our front. I kind of lived out in the country. So frogs would come up and I would take them, and it sounds terrible now, but I would dissect them because I always had an inkling to want to see what made things tick.
So you mean to tell me you was doing biology when you were a kid?
Yeah, I mean like
So you could have been teaching me my 9th grade year on how to dissect
yeah, but the crazy thing is now they would put me into an institution probably because they think I was weird.
Yeah.
I can understand why they would, but the thing is, I would dissect frogs, and I enjoyed, not because of the cruelty of it, which at that time I didn't think about it. I just was curious to see what was inside something. And as time evolved, I became interested in science and biology and stuff like that. And I've always had a desire for understanding human beings and people. And then along with that came a caring attitude where I enjoy people, and then I enjoy helping people.
Absolutely.
So it made a situation where at first, I wanted to be a physician, which was what I always thought of as I was growing up. But then my wife, as later time developed and I got married in college, my wife, who had worked for physicians before, said, "Max, why don't you consider dentistry, because I don't want to be married to a physician that will be on call all the time," because she worked for physicians and she knew how distant the father was.
You would have to marry your profession more than you would. I get it. Yeah.
So, of course, it worked out well for me because I had 3 kids and I was able to coach and do all the things that you can do as a father.
Okay. So, when did you graduate dentistry?
1974.
1974. So you had already, I'm just going to tell my age.
Wait a minute. I messed that up. 1977.
1977.
I graduated from college in 74.
74. Okay. So during that time when you were graduating, did you already kind of have in mind, did you want to work for yourself, or did you want to just work for like a dental corporation?
No, I could not handle. First of all, at that time, what usually dentists did at that time was you would go in with another dentist and kind of learn the trade a little bit and understand how things work. Because in dental school, all you learn is the chemistry and the didactic part of it. You don't learn how to run a business at all.
Okay.
So my first year, I went in to practice with a dentist. And kind of learned, how you run a practice. And I did that for a year, and then I went out on my own shortly after that.
Okay.
But I always wanted to be my own boss.
Absolutely.
I worked for him, so but it was a nice transition from dental school to going out on your own at that time.
Absolutely. So during college and during dental school, because how far was A&M from Baylor Dental School?
Well, Texas A&M is College Station, Texas, which is about 3 hours from Dallas. And Baylor Dental School, which is where I went, was in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, so about 3 hours.
Yeah, about 3 hours. And so at that time I had a mobile home, which...
Hey, that's the way to go.
What a great deal.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, so I transported my mobile home from College Station, Texas, up to Baylor Dental School, and then I went there for 3 years. At that time, dental school was a 4-year program.
Oh wow! Okay.
But during that time, which is kind of strange, they offered for about 2 or 3 years a 3-year program. And,
oh wow!
But the thing is, the only terrible thing about it was for 3 years straight, you go to school nonstop, and all you get off is Christmas Day, Thanksgiving, New Year's Day, and we had 5 holidays, but you don't stop from.
So you go right back
from nonstop. Well, on the 4-year program, they get you off at summertime and all that, but it was like they went from doing it. Excuse me.
You're okay.
From doing it to not doing it to going back to the 4-year program, because I had several people in my class that had anxiety and not a nervous breakdown, but
I mean, when you're at it 24/7 for 3 years, that was going to be my next question. So, like, during those 3 years, were you like, man, I don't want to do this? And the follow-up question would be, because you did it, because I know you did it, who pushed you through those 3 years? Because, man, I can only imagine having to go to school for 3 straight years and only getting 5 nonstop.
Like 15 days in 3 years we were off.
Oh, man.
It was horrible.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
So, I don't know. I was always in a position in my life so far that it's been, when I set a goal, I go after it full tilt.
Attack it.
Yeah, attack it. And I'm not going to give up till I get the goal accomplished.
Got you.
So
good. That's the same thing with me. Coming up with this podcast, it was just like, I'm gonna do it.
Hey,
I don't care.
They're gonna look back one of these days and say, "Oh my God, Dr. Bird and Duan was doing this at the very beginning."
At the very beginning.
Yeah, they're gonna say, "Hey, they're gonna salute us."
You're gonna be seasoned in.
No, you'll be seasoned in.
You'll be seasoned into it, aren't you? So, I guess my next question would be, and we didn't even talk about this, but you had already retired, correct?
Yes.
Before you came to Muskogee.
Yes.
Okay. What made you? Because I'm just going to say, when I retire, I'm retired. But what made you want to come back to Muskogee, or what made you want to come to Muskogee, open up a business, and come out of retirement? What was like the...
Well, okay, you have to understand, I'm not the normal person in the world. I never can be happy with where I am. I got to keep pushing myself to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought at the time that retirement sounded really good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're at your age, you just said it.
Huh?
I'm going to retire one of these days, and it's done.
It's done.
Well, when you get to that age, and you're kind of your personality or my personality or a lot of these people's personalities, is that you don't feel comfortable unless you're serving man and helping people and doing things that are fun to you.
Gotcha.
And I like when I do something good. I like for people to say, "Oh, that was great. I didn't even feel that shot. That was a great. I was scared to death to go to a dentist."
Mm-hmm.
That motivates me to where I want to do it. And I retired thinking that I was like what you just said.
Gotcha.
And then after about 6 months, I was so bored.
Okay.
That you can only play golf or play tennis or go
fishing or
whatever you want to do
for
a certain amount of time. After 6 months, my wife said,
"I'm tired of you."
Yeah.
You got to go. Look,
you got to go back to work.
Job.
She said, "You got to go back to work." Not because we need the money necessarily, even though that'd be nice.
But I want to miss you.
I want to miss you for a while.
Yes.
So I went back. I started a new business after I retired.
Mm-hmm.
I started a new business called Dental Practice Relief. And with that, I would go from one office to another office based upon the need. If a dentist had a heart attack, or 2 cases I had in Tulsa where I went in and served 2 female dentists that had babies for about an 8-week period. I took over 2 practices that weren't mine, that were theirs, but they needed to have somebody come in so that they could mother their child.
Absolutely.
And I did a heart attack, and I did back surgeries, and I would go from one town to another town around the area of Tulsa and in Tulsa itself. And I did several towns, but when I came down to it, when I started another practice all over again, Muskogee was a town that I worked in that I enjoyed, and the people there were really nice, and the staff that I worked in was really good, and then I brought them with me after.
Absolutely.
So it worked out really well for me.
I love y'all. I love your staff.
All the girls are great.
I mean, I come in the first day. I don't even know Miss Shannon at the time.
Yeah.
She's, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm good." You know, it just makes you feel good when when somebody comes in and is excited for you to be there.
Well, I think that we have a family atmosphere.
Absolutely,
and we're sterile, but we're not sterile personalities
at all.
Hey, we're part of. Hey, we can laugh and have a great time at the same time we're getting some dentistry done.
Absolutely. I mean, Same with me with the more smoothing side. People will see us laughing and having a good time moving their furniture.
You're supposed to be working.
You're supposed to be working. This is not supposed to be fun to move my furniture. Well, hey, we got to make this fun.
Yes.
You know, one of the biggest stressors besides money is when people move.
Oh, yes.
When people move, nobody wants to move.
Nobody wants
to move.
And
nobody
what's
wants
amazing,
to pack.
when I've moved in the past, it's like, wait a minute, do I even need this? And then you're sitting there thinking, do I take this with me or not? Do I want to throw this away or do I,
Exactly.
And
So
it's maddening.
I call it and I'm not getting paid for this, but I call it the ChickfilA service. I mean, when you go to Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A is not my favorite, but I'll go there just because of the personalities there.
Service.
You'll take your order. When they say my pleasure, I'll be like, hey, I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just all about how you present yourself, how your business speaks for you. And when I tell you, I'm not going anywhere else. So you know what I mean. Yeah. So it's just it's amazing, and I think just what you said there, the personality is first and foremost. It has to be right. You have to come in with a good energy. You have to come in not necessarily just.
Well, nobody wants to go to the dentist first of all.
Exactly.
And nobody wants to move.
Yeah, my son loves coming.
Really?
Yeah, he loves. As soon as he gets there, I'm getting candy. I'm getting toys. Don't
say that word.
Candy. My bad. But I'm getting toys and everything else. But man, it's just amazing.
Well,
it's just amazing.
We appreciate that.
Sugar-free candy. How about that?
Yeah,
there we go. Sugar-free. Okay. But let's dig farther deeper into it. So I'm a person that doesn't have dental insurance, but you guys offer programs for me. Would you like to talk about the programs that you do offer and what?
Well, first of all, we're here to serve people, and I'm probably the worst person in the world because if it was left up to me, everything would be for free. I mean, hey, I didn't make some money, but I'd like to do it for free.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I can't.
Absolutely.
Because the girls like to get paid. You
know? Oh yeah, you got to pay. Yeah, you got to pay.
So, but if Shannon was here, she could tell you. But point is, I kind of turn it over to her and let her tell the patient how to do it. But we have all kinds of concepts and plans. Hey, whatever it takes, we're trying to serve the patient and
Absolutely.
trying to help the person at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can space payments apart. We will figure out a way to make it where you can get the work done until you can afford to pay for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of where how we are with More Smooth. I'm just trying to contrast back with you, but you know, sometimes I tell them, hey, if you got a 4-bedroom house, it's not going to be no $200.
No,
you know what I mean. So I have to tell them, hey, listen, you're moving. Let's just say right now, what is it, September? So if you're moving in December, you can just pay me now, and then once the move is paid off, let's get it done.
Let's start it incrementally.
Absolutely.
And we kind of do the same thing. Where if it takes 5 visits to get whatever needs to be done for your mouth, then we will say, okay, pay $200 today, and then you pay $200 in a week, and then 2 weeks later you may have to pay $200. We try to figure out a way to space it apart far enough because, hey, I couldn't afford dentistry if I was if I wasn't a dentist because obviously I can get it for free.
Yeah, I can work on myself. You know,
no, I have a dentist that can work on me.
Absolutely. So, I love to eat.
Who doesn't?
I really love to eat. So, what are different foods that are healthy for your teeth? I know sometimes I can go on a little sugar rush, or and not even sugar rush. I love cereal. I'll eat cereal all day and all day and all night. But I know I can't.
Cocoa Krispies, I assume.
Really?
No. That's
Honey Nut Cheerios, Fruit Roll-Ups, Frosted Flakes. I mean, there's a few that I can dig into. But I know there's healthy foods that we have to eat.
Well, there are healthy foods, but they're kind of boring too at the same time. Like obviously broccoli's healthy food. Apples are good for you. Anything that wouldn't be acidic and or sugary, because sugars can turn into an acid that eats away enamel or causes gum diseases that we become concerned about.
Yes, sir.
So, I hate to say any one thing other than the things that are everybody knows that are healthy, like vegetables and fruits are good to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But even some of the fruits are too sweet.
Sweet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be able to go to a situation where I could say, hey, this is really great. Mm-hmm. But anything acidic, I would be able to say more what you shouldn't eat.
Okay.
Anything, obviously, candies and sweets and sugars
Absolutely.
and anything like that, or any carbohydrates even that can turn into a sugar as if it sits there for a long time. So, and basically, people don't understand. You can eat anything you really want to. Mm-hmm. You got to brush. You got to floss.
Yeah. That was my next question. Yeah. What is the upkeep of your teeth? Because personally, me, I really didn't know I had to start flossing until like I was 25. I just brushed my teeth.
Sure.
And Miss Jennifer, and that's in your staff, she told me, she was like, you got to start flossing. And I'm like, I brush my teeth twice a day. She's like, no, you really need to start flossing. So it's stuff like that I didn't even know about until 2 years ago, I should say.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those deals where you can eat anything you really want to, even if it's bad for you, as far as sweets. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it's the care that you give after you eat.
Absolutely.
If you leave it on your teeth, you eat it like at 10 o'clock at night, and you leave it on your teeth all night, that's not good if it's the sugar.
Yeah.
But if you brush your teeth and you floss your teeth before you go to sleep, and rinse out with some mouthwash or even water, it takes off the plaque and cleans the teeth, and you're okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not one of those dentists that says you can't eat this, you can't eat this, can't eat this, because all that does is make people want to eat it more.
Yeah.
So
I'm definitely like that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm definitely like that.
If you say I can't do something,
I'm going to do it. Yeah.
So what you have to do is you have to realize that if you're going to do that, you're going to have to make sure you keep your mouth clean. And if you brush your teeth and floss before you go to bed, and you wake up the next morning, you do that. And if you can't brush at noon, whenever you're out having a social dinner or a business dinner, if you'll swish, go in the bathroom and swish with some water, and it'll knock the excess food that you don't get by eating.
Absolutely.
That it'll clean your teeth at least to a point where at night or later in the day when you have time to brush your teeth, you can do it.
Absolutely. Because the routine I kind of got when I wake up, that's the first thing I do. I just have to. I can't.
I know. Yeah.
I can't stand the taste of just waking up morning breath. That just kills me. So that's the first thing I do. But then I also, when I get home from a long days of work or whatever the case may be, I'm eating out with the guys, or we're going on a quick trip, or wherever our job is. I go ahead and brush my teeth right then and there, because I know I done ate and drank pop and water and the whole thing.
You can usually tell, okay, I need to brush my teeth.
Absolutely.
I feel yucky.
Exactly. So we're gonna keep on going. We're gonna keep on going. This is a question that I wanted to ask you. Is there any memorable moment when you first got into dental? After you graduated dental school, but you started doing your practice, is there any funny story that happened that you can say on the podcast?
Please don't take this as it's a real true story that happened to me, but in the same regard, don't think this happens normally.
No. Yeah, we're not.
In our practice, okay?
Yeah.
Well, my first year out of dental school, and I went into, like I told you earlier, I went into a practice with a guy that had been practicing for 30 or 40 years. I can't remember exactly how long he'd been practicing in Tulsa. And I was like an intern or an associate, well, they call it an associate. So he paid me a certain amount of money per day to do the work that he didn't really want to do.
Gotcha.
So I had an elderly gentleman come in. He was about 85 years old, and he had a partial. Well, you don't know this, but a lot of people's teeth really shift if they haven't worn their partial. You know what a partial is?
Yeah, I know what a partial is.
Okay, a partial is where you have teeth that are on a metal framework that you snap into place.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this gentleman had lost his partial, and he was about 85 years old, and his teeth had shifted.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so he couldn't get it back in his mouth.
How long does that take?
Well, it could happen in 24 hours. Your teeth can shift. I mean, now he had lost it for like 3 or 4 or 5 days.
Oh, okay.
So they had really shifted. They hadn't shifted just a little.
They shifted a lot.
So he comes in and he says, Dr. Bird, I can't put my partial back in. And I said, well, let me take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, full of confidence because I was just a young
buck. I got you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Let me take a look at it. So I put it down, and I'm thinking I can get this partial all the way in. Mm-hmm. I get it about halfway. Well, he starts going, it's hurting my teeth.
Yeah.
And so I get it about 3/4 the way in, and he really starts grimacing. And so I think, I need to get this thing out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting my fingers underneath of a partial. And if you knew what a partial looked like for people that are watching this,
mm-hmm.
you get your fingers in there, and it was really tight. And I was trying to get it back out of his mouth because I was getting concerned. He was really getting hurt.
Really hurt. Yeah.
And so I was pulling up, and as I'm pushing, and this is like 6 months after I was a dentist. And so I'm pushing up, and the thing flips out of his mouth because I'm pushing so hard.
Yeah.
It goes flying up in the air, and it's just like in the movies.
Slow motion?
It's slow motion. It starts going like this,
yeah,
and it's spinning down, and it lands right back in his mouth. No kidding. Swear to God. Well, you know.
Hold on. In his mouth, like perfectly?
No,
in his mouth?
perfectly.
Okay.
I wish it would have been.
Yeah, that would have been
a great story. No, what happens is it flies down, and you know, for all the people that are watching this, if you have a partial, it's got little metal framework arms on it, and it's like a fish hook.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so it lands, you know, where the soft palate is. It's the part of the back part of your throat is.
Okay, yeah.
That's the soft palate. When you say it vibrates up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, it lands and it hooks right in this guy's soft palate. I don't know this when I'm trying to get it, but he's grimacing. He's going, he's really acting like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He's going to choke on this thing.
Yeah.
Well, I go in to get my finger into it.
Yeah.
And that's back when you didn't have to wear gloves, 1970.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's okay. Hey, this is a long time ago. This is okay.
So I get my finger on the partial, not knowing that it's hooked into the soft palate. And so I start to pull it out, and his throat is coming out with the partial. Oh, I know. Hey, this is not going to happen to you people.
No, this ain't going to happen. No.
This just happened one time.
This is 6 months in. 6 months in. This happened a long time ago.
That's 44 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm a lot better than that now. Anyway, so it hooks on his soft palate. And I don't know it, and I start to pull it out thinking, I don't want him to choke on this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so his throat's coming out with it. And so I said, okay, I forget let's say his name was Carl.
Yeah.
Carl, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And I don't know how I'm so cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm not prepared for this at all.
Yeah.
They didn't teach me this in dental school. So I start to pull it out, and I realize, oh my gosh, it's hooked onto his throat, and I'm pulling it out of his throat with this partial. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I start going, luckily, as I grew up, I fished a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm unhooking his throat, and I'm pulling. Carl, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I'm real cool.
Yeah.
And I pull that thing out of his mouth, and he doesn't even know it. First of all, he's 85 years old.
Yeah.
But second of all, I had him come back in the next week after I get it in his mouth.
Yeah.
Because I trim it up and get it back in his mouth. And he comes back the next week, and he didn't even know. He didn't even know it ever happened to him, and he didn't even have a puncture wound where it had happened. Because I checked him out because I was obviously worried about it.
Yeah. And so, it was good to go.
It was good to go.
Oh,
and he loved me, and he thought I did a great job.
See?
Yeah.
You know what?
You never know what's going on in your mouth.
That's why I'm glad y'all numb me, because, no, I'm kidding. No, oh, man.
Is that a story or what?
That's a good story. But you know what? We need to hear stories like that. And not comical, yes, but just...
Well, it's comical now.
Yes, it wasn't funny then. No, it wasn't funny then. It happened a long time ago. But I say that because people need to know that there's a process to everything.
Sure, and anything can happen.
Anything can happen. So
you know that because when you're moving stuff, you could break off of.
Hey, I done had moves where it's been some things that have been broken, and they basically got free moves before. So there's plans in place now where that doesn't happen. But there's definitely been some moves I've had to give for free. So yeah, I get it. But no, I say that to say that, man, there needs to be stories like that so people know that, hey, there's some times where things don't go the way you think that it needs to go, even if you studied for X amount of years and things like that. So yeah, absolutely. We're gonna keep going. We're just gonna keep going. I'm loving this, man.
And I've got other stories.
We ain't gonna do it. We'll leave it alone.
We'll leave it alone. We'll leave it stop right there. Nobody will come and see me if I.
No, they're gonna come. They're gonna come. Let's go into it, man. So now that you're in your second tier of working, I'm gonna say it like that.
I like that.
That your second tier of working. What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Oh boy,
starting off. You know what I mean? You pretty much, well, obviously, you know what you want to do now and things of that nature, and you're happy where you're at. You're happy with your staff. But if you could go time travel back and talk to your 18-year-old self, no kids, no wife, nothing.
Whoa, that makes it sound way too good.
No kids, no wife.
I'm teasing.
But what would you say? What would you say to your 18-year-old self? If you had anything that you would say to her, you know.
Well, gosh, that's a really hard question to answer.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty happy with my life.
Absolutely.
So usually when you talk to your 18-year-old self, you want to give an admonition that, hey, don't do this or don't do this because something happened. But,
same here. Same with me.
Yeah.
Same exactly.
But on the whole, I'd have to say, even though I'm not a worrier, even though I live life each day and try to have a very positive attitude with each day,
absolutely,
I would probably say even do it better.
Do it better.
Yeah, I would say
go twice as hard. Or?
Well, no, go. Don't be as worried about life or worried about things. I could put things out of. Okay, let's say I've got Mrs. Smith is coming to the office the next day. Mm-hmm. In fact, if Shannon was here, she would be able to verify the fact that I don't want to know that Mrs. Smith is coming because I'm worried about Mrs. Smith.
Okay.
So I would tell myself, and what's amazing too is when you are kind of concerned about something, that it's not nearly as bad as what you thought it was going to be when Mrs. Smith comes. It's wrong. In fact, it's a whole lot better.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I would say to myself, don't worry as much as you do about everything working out perfectly. Most people, if they understand you're doing their best and they want to be there and they're having a good time while they're there, they're a lot more apt to put up with things that don't work out, like what we talked about earlier.
Absolutely.
So I think that I would say to myself, be concerned, but don't worry about things.
Don't stress.
Don't stress to a point where you're stressed.
Okay.
Out of the norm.
Things will work out.
It'll work out.
Yeah.
On the whole, most things in life work out well.
I think that's a gem for me because I'm always worried about. I have a huge staff of people that work for me, and sometimes I don't know when their next job is. You know, so I mean we're booked out to a certain amount of extent, but sometimes I'm like, okay. Oh, I need this job. Oh, I need this day filled. Oh, I need this day filled. And then it always works out where it gets filled.
Yeah,
and I can't explain it or anything like that, but it always happens for me. And
so you're mad at yourself for why did I worry so much about this situation?
Why did I have to be? Exactly. Why did I give my energy to this when I could have been worried about this?
And that's kind of what I'm saying to myself at 18 would be, it's going to work out. Everything's going to work out just like you would hope it would, or close to what you would hope it would.
Absolutely.
So
you can only control you.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you got to have a positive attitude.
Yes. That's one thing it was hard for me to understand was I can only control myself.
Yes.
So it was just one of those reassuring things where I just had to kind of just face it and deal with it to an extent. So
you got a big staff. I saw that picture of you.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's 5 years. 5 years. Hopefully 5 more.
I should be interviewing you.
Huh?
I should be interviewing.
No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. So my last question. This is my bonus question.
Okay.
I know you went to Texas A&M, and we didn't get into it.
Okay.
But next interview we will.
And I played football there.
I know you. That's what I was gonna say. I know you played football there. You've had some pretty good talent come out of there. The only ones noticeable that I know, because I just really kind of didn't follow Texas A&M until kind of recently when they switched conferences, was Johnny Manziel, which I know, he's not in the league right now. Yeah. And then you got a prime stud in Tampa Bay, Mike Evans. Oh, man, he's a monster.
Hey, what's he going to do with Tom Brady?
I don't know.
I'm anxious to see.
It's bittersweet for me because
you liked Jameis Winston, didn't you?
No. I like the Carolina Panthers, and so Cam is gone.
He went to
the Patriots. Yeah, so
he's doing good apparently because Belichick's bragging on him.
I hope he gets the starting job, man.
Yeah, he probably will.
Yeah, I mean he should, but politics. Sure. It's Belichick. You just never know. You just never know.
In fact, I think he's going to kind of alternate quarterbacks maybe at the first.
That'd probably be best for Cam because I still don't feel like he's all the way healed. Yeah, so that'd be perfect for him. But my question is,
okay,
what is your Aggies going to do this year, man?
Well, I really thought before this season started, before this pandemic started, that A&M was going to be. It's been right on the verge of going to the next level and elite. Mm-hmm. All these years, for the last few years particularly, it's been a good team. Mm-hmm. Real good team. Well, pretty good. And we got Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
He's a real good coach, and this is his third year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he had 2 years of recruits, and he's gotten a lot of big-time recruits.
Yeah.
So I thought they were going to go to the next level again, and they may still. I just don't know because what's going to happen with the conference and what's going to happen with the COVID thing.
You just don't know. Mm-hmm.
But I do know that the SEC, which is what Texas A&M is in, is going to be playing schools only in the SEC.
Yeah.
So
same with Big 12.
Yeah,
they're all playing.
They're not going to do non-conference games.
Yeah.
So the problem is that when they took away the 4 non-conference games and added 2 conference games. Mm-hmm. They drew Florida and one Georgia. Florida and some other really good one down there in the East. Anyway, the point is that they took 2 fairly easy games and put 2 really hard games. And they don't need hard games because they're already playing the SEC West, which has got Alabama, Auburn, LSU, and Mississippi and Mississippi State. And they're with them in Arkansas.
Oh, yeah.
So they already got a tough schedule, and then they add 2 teams or 4 teams from the SEC East. Yeah. And those 4 teams, 3 of them are tough.
So
anyway, they're going to play a 10-game schedule. I'm going to say 7-3. Maybe 8, anywhere from 6-4 to 8-2.
Okay.
So I'll take that.
Well, my team. I got really 2 teams. I like OU, but I like Ohio State too. So Ohio State's not even playing.
Well, they're trying to.
They're trying.
Yeah, but Trump is trying to get pressure on them to play.
But
they should.
I agree. I definitely agree.
And Justin Fields from Georgia is the starting quarterback.
Yep.
And so they've got a bunch of parents and players that are signed a petition to play
for them to play. Yeah. And that I feel like that needs to go ahead and go. But I don't know, man. We'll just see. OU, I'm gonna have to kind of root for them this year just because they're playing.
And they're playing.
Yeah, so that it just all kind of depends on where we go.
If a key player or 2-3 key players get COVID, then the whole season can be turned around.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. It's hard to figure exactly what's going to happen.
Exactly. Well, everybody, if you need dental work done in Muskogee, please come on down to Windmill Dentistry. It is in Muskogee. I don't have the address, but it's going to be on the teleprompter. I promise you. But come on down to see Dr. Bird. Dr. Bird and his staff, they are wonderful, wonderful people. They'll take care of you. Don't worry about paying, but come in there and talk to them and see about your teeth. It's very, very important. Appearance is important. So come on down to see them. Before we go today, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to give a special sponsor to Windmill Dentistry, Dr. Bird, for him doing this interview today. And then I have my elite sponsors, Scott Abbott from Oklahoma Farm Bureau, and Holly Miller from Interstate Properties. Thank y'all and have a wonderful day.
I am the John Dada showstopper. Right now is the one and only, no other. Just pulled up, lifted, and persisted, ignoring my voice. voice of reason. I've seen things that I'll never mention. I've seen people do more for attention. Here comes Mr. Know-It-All. I know so much, but I don't listen. Lord knows that I feel that pressure. God, please forgive me for stressing. Just pulled up, lifted, and persisted, ignoring my voice of reason. I've seen things that I'll never mention. I've seen people do more for attention. Here comes Mr. Know-It-All. I know so much, but I don't listen. Lord knows that I feel that pressure. God, please forgive me for stressing.